the most important thing to me, of course, is getting better. We have to get better. What is the indie comic scene about? What is it for? What is the Iron Age for? If we're going to call it the Iron Age, what is Comicsgate for? What is any of this? What is the purpose of the culture war to me? Well, to me, the idea is to create stories independently, which is not easy to do. I mean, we have to kind of scrap a little bit and fight, in order to be able to get the funding and all of the things that we need to be able to compete with Marvel and DC. It's not easy. Crowdfunding helps, the internet helps, and all of this. We got to run little businesses, and running a business all by yourself is not easy. Just isn't easy. It's hard work. It takes up a lot of time, takes up a lot of energy. But none of that means anything if what we're producing is shit. That's it. I mean, if what we're putting, it's great to get funded. It's great to put comics out there, but if the comics are no good, and if there is no discernible story, and if we don't understand how to tell stories, there is no reason to make a comic book. None. That's, in my opinion, the entire point of making a comic book is not just to make money; it's to actually create a story. That's what you're selling. You're not selling people an object. You're not saying, here, buy this. It looks like a book. Inside of this are stories. They're not very good because this is from when I was a kid. But stories are everything. Stories are where the money is. Stories, they will last forever. They are invaluable. And it's important that we learn how to tell them. I spent my life, learning how to draw. Nobody taught me how to write. And nobody really is teaching me too much about how to. Nobody has taught me too much about how to draw either. It's just from listening to criticism. It's just from being around my peers. These things have made me become one of the greatest artists of all time. You have to listen. You have to grow. This is what's vital. All right, so Dick Masterson went and he read it, and then he made a list of criticisms. He went through it page by page and talked about it. He typed up what he was seeing and little mistakes that he saw as he was going, his thoughts as he was going, and then he wrote a nice summation of the story structure problems. And the fact that there really was no story structure. It didn't follow any known kind of story structure. It didn't have rising action. None of the characters were introduced in the first act. There were all these questions about who they were, what their motivations were. Their motivations were unclear. So on and so. Really good criticism. And I saw that criticism. I was actually envious of it because it was professional criticism. And normally people have to pay for that kind of stuff. You have to pay to have somebody go over your work, right? The only other way is if the fans are reading it and they're posting their thoughts. I think it's a pretty good criticism, of our entire community, that our books aren't being read and discussed. But it almost seems like that's not the point. The point is just paying for them to get made, and that's important. We got to do that. We got to retain our focus on that. But there's a follow through where you read the books and you go, is this good? Was this not good? Am I going to back it again? Am I curious about the story? Is there any insight that I might be able to offer to help the creators? That's not really being done. But here it was. Now, I was aware, of course, that Dick Masterson had said some pretty nasty things about Eric July. That's not that's a tough thing to hear. I don't agree with that. But on the other hand, I looked at the notes and I agreed with the notes. They were really, really good notes. And then this thing came up where Eric said, I'm not going to follow the notes because they weren't offered in good faith. And I struggled with that because when you distinguish between good faith and bad faith, when you basically are absolving yourself of the obligation to respond with intelligence, respond with a comeback, with anything, or even just listen to it. You don't have to heed any criticism when you just write it off as bad faith criticism. You don't have to. So I see, and I know people disagree with me about this, but there's no such thing as good faith or bad faith criticism. I'm going to say that again. There's no such thing as good faith or bad faith criticism. There are people who like you and hate you. But there's valid criticism and there's invalid criticism. Okay, that's it. Valid criticism can come from people who love you. Valid criticism can come from people who hate you. And as I said back then, the best criticism that you're going to receive as a creator in this space is going to come from people who hate you. Uh, that kind of criticism is largely going to be detailed. It's going to be cruel. It's going to be cutting. It's going to be to the point. And it's going to, the reason why is because they want to make themselves look smarter than you. So that kind of criticism is going to be the best criticism. Criticism from people who like you. Every now and then it's going to be really good. I got Bill Willingham to give me like 58 pages of criticism, but although he found 10 or 11 things that I needed to change, most of it was like a nice warm back rub. It was just like, this is really great, Ethan. And why? Because he likes me. You know what I mean? It's like he's not going to be mean to me. He's not going to go through and pick out all the little flaws. He'll pick out the big ones. He'll give me some good direction, but he's not going to really be he's not going to cut me with a scalpel and find all of my weak spots and all that stuff. That's something that somebody who doesn't like me is probably more likely going to do. And by the way, that's not always true. People that hate you are also going to say stupid shit, and they're wrong. And people that like you can also occasionally give you great criticism. But the point is, it's not about who likes you. It's not about who approaches you in good faith. That's irrelevant. It's about criticism. Is it right or is it wrong? And if you're honest with yourself and you're in touch with yourself as a creative person and you understand story, you understand you're close to your story, maybe too close to your story, you're going to recognize valid criticism as being valid criticism, and other people will recognize it too. Other people will see it and they'll say, "Yeah, that is valid." Sometimes people that you like and that you have a good relationship with aren't going to be honest with you for several different reasons. One of the reasons might be that they're on your payroll. That's one of the reasons. So, anyway, I was really flummoxed by that. It's in bad faith. They're retarded. He would tell me. I feel like these critics are retarded. No, that attitude is retarded. You got to let yourself grow. You got to let yourself listen and get better at this. It's important because a lot of people are counting on you, and a lot of people are investing money in you. And the first one, it's okay if the first one you whiff it a little bit. Everybody does. It's a learning process, right? Of course it is. It's a learning process. Criticism is really important. It's important that we as a community of creative people and indies learn how to tell stories. It's important that we read the stories and offer criticism and insight in our feelings and reactions to those stories, or this thing can't grow. What's our purpose here? Our purpose here is to make comic books so that we can affect the culture. We're free to do it. We can do whatever we want to do. We're free from corporations guiding us and saying what's okay with them and what's not okay with them. Comicsgate and indie comics means freedom. It means total and complete creative freedom. So what are we going to do with it? What do you want to do with it? I mean, it's amazing. I think about it every day. When I wake up to work on Cyberfrog, I think I can do whatever I want, and there's no editor who can tell me that I can't take the story in this direction. I can't make this point. Nobody's going to say that scene is sexist or that scene is racist. I mean, I don't put sexism or racism in the comics, really, but I could if I wanted to. It's awesome. It is totally awesome to be this free. But it is amazingly important that we tell stories. So when I say things like this, and I say creatives, it's on you. It's on your shoulders to be creative and to make creative choices, receive criticism, grow, learn from each other, get better, make better comics. Creative is not easy. Stop saying it's easy. It isn't easy. It's not something that you can just not care about. You have to pour all of your energy into a story. You have to, or it becomes muddled and convoluted. You need to make your characters need to live and breathe. This isn't like just, this isn't making hot dogs. We always call it like, compare the business of Comicsgate to being a hot dog salesman, in the sense that that's how we treat our customers. But these are not fucking hot dogs. This is art. This is, I don't, I don't know how to put that across to somebody who isn't artistically inclined. Creative is vital. It is the most important thing. It is the product that you are selling. It doesn't matter how well you can sell shit. You need to make something good. All eyes are on you. Everyone's looking at you. You need to make something good. People are supposed to be making comics and having, it's like, this wasn't so good. This could be better. Reviewing comics. Certainly when Cyberfrog Blood Hunting came out, there were nobody was afraid to criticize it. And I listened. And that's why Wreck Planet is as good as it is. You have to be able to listen to criticism. You have to, or nothing's going to change. Listen, the money that comes in from you guys, $3.7 million for ISOM #1 is nothing compared to what a good story is worth. That is the money that we use to make the product. That's it. That's all that is. The product, if it's good, it could be worth billions of dollars. So, you need to make good stories. That's where the money is. The money is in the story, obviously.